Go. All right, so welcome to the 11 o'clock session for the iPad basics. Can you hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up or send me a little note in the chat. Oh, that works. Thanks, Kelly. That's not Kelly. Anyway, yes, it is. Awesome. So we're going to be going through some basic stuff for the iPad. This is on really basic iPad navigation. So we're not doing really too many fancy things, although by the time we're done, you'll be like, oh my goodness, now I know how to use my iPad like a wizard. So I hope you have an iPad with you, um, and you can see it. You can see mine, and of course you can see my hand. It's so beautiful right there. Man, in this lighting, it looks like I'm an old man, but well, I probably am. Okay, so let's start. Basic features of the iPad, the basic touching. And when I start this basic, some of you are going to be like, that's too basic. Why are you starting so basic? Because we have to get all on the same page, and because some people don't think of something. So first, there's the basic tap or touch. Most people figure that out. You just touch the thing. Some of you are like, oh my goodness, that's not that hard. But second, people don't think about is just touch it and hold. Touch in one place and just hold it. That's a different thing than just the touch. And that's going to be really important when I show you a few things later. There's also the slide, the swipe, where you touch it and move in some direction, and there's also pinching. Now, is there more than that? Yes. There's fancy things with 4 fingers and 5 fingers and 3 fingers, but we're not going to go into those because most of those can be done more simply. And so I'm going to show you the simple ways to do things. We're not going to get into like, if I touch 5 fingers and I rotate it a certain way, then it opens the search. Because that's just like, are you going to do that? I don't know. Maybe you are. Hey, so here we go. The 2 things I regret about this going online. One is that I'm going to tell lots of jokes and I'm not going to hear you laughing or know if you're laughing or if you're like, oh my goodness, Crawford's an idiot. But maybe that's better. Maybe that's better. I don't know. The other thing is that I can't come and help you. So I'm going to start. One of the very first things I'm going to show you is how I found some of these. I'm going to show you how to split the screen later. And I had such a terrible time with learning how to split the screen. I had an Apple engineer trying to help me, and I went home and I still couldn't do it. So I finally went on YouTube. So this is my advice. If you're having a lot of trouble, open up your YouTube app and search for something like iPad split screen. In fact, I searched for that one just to make sure that I wasn't lying to you. Here it comes, and you can see somebody like Henry Media Group. They spent 3 minutes and 4 seconds. I know you can't really see it because when I put my hand in front of it, it screws up the thing. 3 minutes and 4 seconds showing how to go through and do this effectively. So don't panic if there's something that's a little tricky. If there's something that's a little tricky, don't worry. You'll be able to hop on YouTube and find it without too much difficulty. Once you know it exists, that is. And I'm going to start with, you see how I have all of my stuff in folders? I know you can't read the folders and it's not easy to see what apps I have in there, but I have them in folders because it makes it much easier for me to find. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is my page of crap I don't use. And on my page of crap I don't use, besides settings, I don't know why I don't move that over to utilities. I'm going to just long press. I'm going to touch settings. I'm going to long press. I hold it longer. Now they start dancing. You got a little hula going on here, that little back and forth. And you see that there is a X, so I can delete the app. Although this tips app will show you a lot of the things that I'm going to show you here. So it's pretty good, so I wouldn't get rid of it. But if you take an app, just select it, touch it, and hold it right on top of another one, it creates a folder. It automatically names it. This one named it business. The names it gives them are usually stupid and has nothing to do with what they actually are. So this is where if you touch up here, you can rename it, name it whatever you want. And then when you hit the home button over here, it exits out. So now my apps are in a lovely, lovely thing. If I want to reverse it, same thing. I just hold the thing till they start dancing. Then I'm going to move it outside of the space. And you see that I can move it wherever. Now, one key thing here, it's not where, like here, I'm dragging it all over. It's not where the app is sitting. It's where my finger is to create these things. So that's the first thing. Oh, by the way, at any point, if you have questions, just type them into the chat. It'll come right to me and I will usually respond here in the thing. I am recording this. We will put it on Canvas. In fact, the first one's already up there. I just haven't published it so that it's not confusing for you. But there it is. Okay, now we've moved the apps. We've made some folders. Now, the first things I'm going to show you come when you're in the home screen. So if you're not in the home screen on your iPad, get there. Just hit the home button, right? So these only work in the home screen, most of them. Some of them work other ways, other places, but most of them are just home screen. So I'm going to start at the bottom. So I'm starting at the black. See how there's a little bit of black at the bottom of the iPad? So I'm going to start there. I think you might be able to have white or gold or I don't know, but whatever. I'm starting here off the screen. I'm going to swipe all the way up to the top. Once again, start at the bottom, all the way up to the top. And you'll see that opens every app that I've had open recently. Now I can do cool things in here. I can switch between apps really quickly. But one of the handiest things, you know how when you're on your Windows machine and an app, Chrome locks up and does weird stuff? It seems like it's always Chrome, right? Does weird stuff. You hit Control-Alt-Delete, you get out of Chrome and then you go back into it. This is the same thing. The Apple calls it force quit. So here I am. If my force score is misbehaving, I'm just going to touch it and flick it off the top. That closes it. So if I open it back up, now it will load it fresh. So that force quit's really handy. If you have something failing, that's what you do. And then you can load it back up and it's glorious and awesome. Okay, now second, from the left. Now first, if I've got more than one screen, going from one side just flicks it across. But if I'm all the way on my left screen and I come in from the left, it opens what Apple calls the Today view. So you can see what's coming up next. I've got events popping up. I've got app suggestions, maps, whatever we need, it's popping up and I can see it right there in one place. So the Today view, super handy, super nice. Looks like I should have, I don't know, it didn't pop up with the same stuff earlier. So we got the Today view. From the top middle comes the notification center. If you got a notification that comes up like an email came in and you're like, wait, what was that? I was up in front of kids. I need to look at it now. It'll be right here in this notification center, pop up and tell you what's going on. You can do the normal stuff. I already know that. I don't need to know that. I don't care. Now I have no older notifications. Again, that's just swipe down from the top, right there in the middle. Now, this is one that most people have trouble finding. So I have to help other people with their iPads a lot. So I go into, Steve's room and I find that Steve is the name I always choose when I have to pick a random name. So, that's just the one I do. So I go into, I'm using Steve's iPad and I need to find an app. I want, say, their settings, but I don't know where it is. Everything's in a folder. I need it soon. I'm going to touch in the middle, just generic somewhere in the middle, and I'm going to drag down. Now this opens up. First, Siri has some suggestions for apps, but here's my search. And if I start searching for the settings, that app pops up. it also searches within other things. It searches the web, the things Siri knows, the dictionary. It searches my mail, searches Safari, searches. So it's really handy. So search in the middle, drag down just a little. This only works on the home screen, but it will search open apps. So that's pretty handy. Last but not least, from the top right, if I swipe down, it opens the control center. The control center to me is the handiest part of the iPad. I can do all kinds of things in the control center. I can start my video or my music that I had playing recently. I can turn on and off the Wi-Fi, or if I long press on the Wi-Fi, I can learn that that only works at home. There we go. I can see different wireless settings, connect to different networks. I can do the same in Bluetooth. So I can do some nice things up here. We're gonna spend a little bit more time there once we customize it a little bit. And that's what's next. So far, nothing too fancy, but any questions? Your questions only come to me. I'm not gonna read your name and say, oh, so Jimmy's an idiot and he wants to know. Even if it's my sister, I won't do that to you. Show that again. Yes. Okay, which one? Okay, so control center is from the top right. Pull it down. There it comes. And then over here from the left, stuff pops up. That's the key is that you start off of the screen in the black part to make it happen, to make it come down. It doesn't actually have to be off the screen, but it just makes it work. The bottom one up, I have this question quite a bit. The bottom one up doesn't work. Usually it's because you're not on the home screen or because you're not far enough off the screen to get that one to pop up. Again, this is where I wish we could do it. Someone asked about screen mirroring. I will talk about that later. So that's a great question. We will talk about it later. My music keeps coming on. If your music pops up, you are probably doing one of the other features that makes it do it, that makes it come on. It could be here, but if it pops up and you're not expecting it, pull it up here and hit that. Right now it's playing the video, now it's paused. And you can at least pause it when it pops up. We'll get to that. Someone just asked what some things do. Okay, we're gonna customize that control center because here, this is customized for what I want in front of my students and at my house. Since I use the iPad both places, which is a good idea, so you get more familiar with it. So we're gonna customize it. So you need to open your settings app. So get to your settings. If you have trouble finding settings, remember, on the home screen, just drag down and search for settings. So settings. Oh, my favorite sister, who's changed her name. If you bump your Apple Watch and it's tied to your iPad, it can make your music play. So that could be why your music is starting to play. I don't have an Apple Watch, so I wouldn't know that. The other thing, just so you know, shaking the iPad is undo. And so I have undo pop up all the time. I don't mean to be shaking it. I don't realize I'm shaking it. It just drives me nuts. Okay, so customize. We're gonna go to settings and control center. See control center over here on the left? You can decide whether you want the control center to be accessible from within your apps or not, but I don't know why you'd turn that off. But we're gonna go into this customize controls. So go in there. Here's where you can set and decide what you want to show up. So you see, like I've got my timer on so that I can access the timer right there with the kids. I want to be able to turn the timer on and have my students watch it ticking down. I like the camera to be there. That's by default. I love my Apple TV. And so that one's definitely there. If you don't have an Apple TV, or if you do have an Apple TV, there's your remote. You don't have to find that tiny little remote. It's right here. You can't find my Apple TV, but there's my remote. But the one I want you to turn on is this screen recording. Flip that sucker on. It might be down here. So hit the plus, make sure it's up here. We're gonna play with screen recording a little. Okay, now set whatever else you want. And then we're gonna come back, open up your control center. Remember, swipe down from the top right. Don't swipe down from the middle. That's not helpful. Swipe down from the top right. And I'm going to show you a few of the things that are the handiest for a teacher. Oh, how did I go back? Great question. This button here, this is the home button. And if you haven't set up your, like I have mine set to unlock with my thumbprint when I'm holding it this way or this way. Set up your thumbprint and your fingerprint and like 8 other prints. Just saves some handiness. Okay. Robin, that is a great question. If I don't answer that soon, if I don't answer that in about 5 minutes, remind me, Robin. Carrie, I don't think it's possible. I'm sorry. Her question was, is there any way to customize the control center to swipe down from the left instead for special left-handers? I don't think so. I'm sorry. And yes, you can set it to open with your para's fingerprints. And if you set it to open with your para's fingerprints, for you severe special ed teachers like my beautiful wife and Suzanne, who I like, but isn't my beautiful wife. So if we set it up, if you set it up, you could set it so that they can unlock it with their finger, but that makes it so that they don't have to know your passcode, and you don't want to give your passcode to your paras because they can mess up your settings. Okay, so back to control center. Let me show you a few things that teachers would really like, then we're going to get back to these questions. And again, if I skip your question, it's because I intend to answer it later. So if I don't, there'll be time to ask it again, and don't be shy about asking it again. This do not disturb, this moon is one of the handiest things for a teacher to know. If you're showing the students your screen, you're up in front of the class, they're seeing what you're doing, you want to hit this. If I just touch it, it turns on do not disturb. Now, when my wife sends me an email and says, hey, honey, you gotta, she never calls me honey, by the way. Hey, Aaron, you gotta swing by the doctor. Don't forget you got a doctor's appointment to look at that huge thing growing in your armpit. Like, I don't want that to show up so my kids can see it, right? So I want to turn on, I want to turn on do not disturb. So that's just not gonna pop up in front of the kids right now. If I hold it, I can turn it on until, so I'm going to do it until I leave this location. And so it's going to be off, and then it's going to turn back automatically, and it's so awesome. So that's a handy feature. I have it set to go to a few things. I have my camera set up, but this screen recording is the thing that I want to really show you. This screen recording. That's what we just added. If I touch it, it starts counting down, then it records my screen. So if I want to show the kids something, I can show them something in any app. I can record it, and it just places it right there. It says it at the top, screen recording, video saved to photos. So I don't even have to remember where it is. I know it's in my photos because it's going to remind me of that every time. Now, one thing, long press, the microphone by default is off. So I need to turn it on. I can also make it so that it screen records it and sends it to Gmail. I don't know why I'd want that, but there we go. So that's, again, long press on the screen recording. Single press turns it on. Now it's also recording my voice. So super handy. It makes it really easy for you to record something, especially in this whole COVID disaster, so that we can show our kids how to do things. Okay, did that, and that. Sorry, crossing things off my list. Someone asked what I'm using to video my iPad and show my hands. It's just a webcam mounted onto a tripod. It's nothing really fancy. Yeah. When I want to turn it off, yes. When I want to stop the screen recording, it's the same button. So it's recording now. When I want to be done, I can hit it up there at the top. Did you see? See, it does this little thing. It's changing the focus. Stop changing the focus. 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 There we go. See this little thing up at the top? If I touch that, it'll stop it. Cancel. Or if I swipe down, I can hit the same button and that'll stop the recording. Good question. Okay. Now, let's go inside an app. So open some app, whatever you want. I just opened KSL because I figured KSL would be safe. So now your app's open. If you go up from the bottom, same way you did it before, start off the screen. If it moves, then you didn't start off the screen. And I'm gonna make that mistake like 6 times in front of you, so it's fine. Don't worry. Yes, thanks, Peter. So partway up, that opens what we call the dock. Now you notice the dock is on your home screen. It's always there. You can customize what's on here. So say I really want my settings to be permanently on here. I just make my things dance and I can move it down here. Now my settings is permanently there, or I can move stuff off. It's totally customizable. The part on the right, this part over here, I have it set to the most 3 recently used apps. You probably have 4, the 3 most recently used, and then 1 you open a lot right now. I turned that off because it made me sad. I was like, oh, I don't, I'm not as constructive as I want to believe I am. So I killed it. I shouldn't admit that on video probably. Okay, so I'm in an app. I go partway up and it opens that dock. So I can switch really quickly between apps. That's really handy. But if I go all the way up, it opens the home screen. Same as hitting this button. So that's kind of nice, but it's not that useful. This is what's useful. So say I've been reading that news article and I really want to save some of it. So I'm going to open up my Notes app. I use an app called Notability. It cost me money. I love it. I think it was worthwhile. So now my Notability app is showing up here. So I'm going to go back here. This is the one that's going to, I go up. See, I told you I'd do that. Till it opens my dock. Now, I'm gonna sit and hold and move it over. Now I can have my Notes app open while my internet is open too. And you can do that with most apps. Yes, I will show it to you slower. I will also show it to you like 60,000 times. And at the end, I guarantee at least one person will ask me to show it to them. If you have trouble with this one, don't worry. This is the one that I sat, I'm an ed tech. I am training people on the iPad. An Apple engineer tried to show me how to do it and I couldn't do it. I finally pull it up on YouTube. So don't feel bad if you have trouble with it. First, let me show you a couple of things before I show you how to do it again. If I click here, I can change the size. And I can also click this up here at the top. And I can make it so it hovers in front of the other window instead. And that's pretty handy. If I sit and I just move it, move this thing all the way over, then it closes the one app and I'm good. Notability is $8.99. And I have some messages about Notability. My favorite sister says it is the best app for use in the classroom. It is. I use it all the time. And someone says they love it. $8.99. I know. I I know. Okay. Show that slower. So here I am inside an app. You have to be inside an app for this to work. I'm going to go up just a little until the dock shows. Now I'm going to long press it till this shows up. See, I held it too long. There, too long. I'm going to long press it till this shows up. Then I actually have quite a bit of time to move it over to the side. I move it over to the left side to make you happy, Carrie. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Left joke there. Click and move. You say you got it. That actually makes me feel bad. It took me forever to learn that one. So that's super handy. Now I'm going to show you one other thing. Say there's something in here that I've got to keep this. I really want to know something about Xmission. They're not my provider, so I don't care, but let's see. So I'm going to do this. I want to move my app up over. And this will work in Apple's Notes app too. So I want to take this paragraph, which I haven't read all of, by the way, just so if you're sitting and judging me, don't judge me. I'm gonna hold the highlight and then move the thing. Once it's selected, I hold my finger on it till it changes. See how it changed to something weird? Now I can drag it over, find the spot, and it'll paste it. And I can do that between the two different, almost any two different apps. There are some that have it limited so that you can't copy and paste. Amazon's Kindle, for example. It does it. Again, the key is to hold it till it changes that shape. I just got a really great question. Is everything considered an app on the iPad? Yes. So here's the thing. This is, get back into Apple's kind of weirdness. They want to be different than everybody. We always call them programs. It's a computer program. But sometimes they're also called applications. And so Apple decided to shorten that to apps because it sounds so awesome. And so, yes, it's all an app, but you could call it a program or an application. Apple actually tried to trademark apps, but Google was already using it, so it didn't work. You probably don't care. Okay. Now, moving on. Got it. Oh, sometimes you'll open another window or something in this happens especially in Safari, or you're in Mail and it opens a Safari window that's separate than the one that you wanted and you get lost. So maybe I've gone to the Deseret News and I wanted to compare the two, so I slid that one over. I'm going to show that to you again, okay? So I can't put it back on there. So all I did, I have a new tab open. And if I click and drag that tab, just like you would on a computer, and I move it over to the side, now I've got two internet windows open. I don't know why you'd want to do this, but you can. And now I swipe it off the side, but here's the problem. I wanted that other, and it's not there. And I'm like, holy crap, where is it? So what I need to do is I just long press on the application and click Show All Windows. Oh, there they are. I can switch to them or I can close them. So that's pretty handy. Someone said, does the district provide a list of really good apps for us to choose? Actually, they do better than that. Pre-installed on your district iPad is an app called Self-Service. If you click on self-service, it's all the apps that the district has either purchased or found that work really well, and they put them together. They don't do some of the others that I really like. Those they'll teach you when the district provides the initial iPad training. They'll share those with you. Or personally, because they're different based on the age. So, like for history teaching, there's no greater app than Google Earth. It's just excellent. If I want to show them how people live in Egypt, I mean, like there's nothing better than that, right? Figure it out for yourself. Look, how come part of it's green? Where do people live? Oh, well, they're going to live in the green part. Well, why is that? Because it's by the river. Anyway, that's not, I'm getting off topic. So I think your PLC team is one of the best places to go to find apps too. They'll have, or every subject has somebody who just knows technology really well. Email that person. Okay, now take a picture, a screenshot. You know, say, well, there, here we go. I don't want to find this in the app. I want it to just be part of my PowerPoint or whatever. So what I'm going to do is take a screenshot. How I do that is I hold the power button and the home button just for a couple seconds and then let go. See how it appears down here at the bottom left? Now, if I touch it, I can edit it. I can crop it. I can annotate it. Like, look, pyramids. Yeah, I can delete it. Hey, show that to you one more time. So it's the power button and the home button. Hold it for a couple seconds, not too long, 2 maybe. And then there it is. All right, now this next one, this is not good for teaching. This is good for preparing to teach. I do not know why you would ever want to use this in front of kids, but I use it all the time because I like it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do the picture-in-picture. Now this works for some apps and not for others. It works for video, the video that's already on the iPad, like if you purchase a movie through Apple, it works for that. It works for Prime Video, it works for Disney Plus, it works for Netflix. It does not work for YouTube. You probably don't care because I haven't shown you what it is. You'll care after I. Okay, so I'm just going to load up Disney Plus because it's what I already had open. And I'm going to start my episode of The Mandalorian here. So I'm totally into this. I don't want to miss it. It would make me sad to miss it, but I really need to check my email. So what I do is I hit the home button once, and it keeps my video playing down in a corner. I can make it a little bigger. There's 2 sizes to choose from, tiny and a little bigger. And I can move it around the screen. I can pause it. I can make it go big again. It doesn't do it when the video isn't actively playing. It has to be actively playing. And again, it does it for some apps and not for others. So it does work for Prime Video, Disney Plus, Netflix. It does not work for YouTube, which makes me sad. But I'll get over it. Okay. Good. Good. I'm going to show you a few keyboard things. First, I need to open any app that you can write in. If you have trouble thinking, I don't want Google Docs, I'm going to do Word. I'm just deleting stuff, sorry. I got it. Leave me alone. Delete. Man. There. What I should have done in the first place. Someone said, what is the app with a hand? What app with a hand? Oh, Hey. It's called Hey. It's a paid email thing. Google scans your email so they can sell you crap. I pay for my email so that Google can't scan it for stuff. Anyway, I like it a lot. That's what it is. I wouldn't, it's expensive. I wouldn't use it. Well, I would use it. I do use it. Okay, back to keyboards. The easy, there's so many great features with the keyboard that a lot of people don't find. I hope that you've noticed that up at the top, there's things like undo, redo, and your bold, italicize, and underline. That makes it just a little easier. Oh, double screen. Some of you say you're stuck in the double screen. If I have my double screen, oh, that's not the one I want. Those look too similar to me. See how there's a bar in the middle? Drag the bar all the way off to the side. Okay. There's a few cool features on this keyboard. So first, here, kind of to the left of the space bar, there is a microphone. If you hit that, it opens the dictation window, period. Apple's dictation is actually quite good, period. And then I hit this. No. That saves a lot of time when you're trying to type something long. It always capitalizes the first letter. So that's pretty handy if you're not aware of that before. Another, so I teach a lot of essays, teaching social studies. I've taught language arts, essay involved subjects, right? If I hold this button down here at the bottom right, in, and then I move up to split, now I get a keyboard that I can type on with my thumbs so that it's just a little easier, unless I tilt it too far. It's just a little easier for me to sit and type while I'm wandering around my classroom. Same thing, hold it. I'm going to dock it. So that's handy. Now, I don't know if you've ever used the predictive text, but when you start typing, it's going to give you a few words up here, you know, that it thinks you might mean. And so you can hit it and choose the thing that you want. It gets better at it as time passes. If you have any questions, it gets better as you type, and then it works really well. I can't get my bar to select. I don't know. That's when I pull out my Apple Pen, my Logitech crayon that Robert gave us, and do it. So that's where I wish we were in person. Someone's having trouble with getting the screen off, which is easy. I have trouble with it myself. So, okay. Now, we're going to go back to the settings. And this time we're in General. And you see how there's the option for keyboard? You foreign language teachers. If I hit keyboards, I can add one. So I want to add Finnish or Georgian or Greek. So I just added Greek as a keyboard. Let me show that to you again. I went into the settings, in general, then keyboard, then I select keyboards, add a new keyboard, and choose whatever you want. So we need it one more time, we were asked. So in the settings app, on the left-hand side, you'll see general. It's kind of close to the top. General. Now in general, there is an option for keyboard, and that's what you want to touch. At the top, it says keyboards. Add new keyboard, and then select whatever you want. I don't even know what those mean. Croatian. Now I'm going to go back to my app. Down here at the bottom, it's changed from something else to be the world keyboard. If I sit and hold, now I can select my other keyboard. I'm going to select my Greek keyboard, and I can type in Greek. Hold it down to move it back to a language that I actually know. I'm just kidding, I don't speak Finnish. Switch it back to English. Okay, so 2 questions. Is there a way to turn on a swipe keyboard? There's an app. Swipe makes an app that you have to get. I used to have it, but if you install the app, then it will allow swipe. I don't know if it has a cost. It's been too long since I used it. Someone else points out that there's not an option for a Klingon keyboard, and I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I think there's also not Elvish. Okay, share. I'm going to show you some share things. So I've got this file, and I want to share it. That one looks a little different. Say I've got this thing, because this uses the same format that the others do. Microsoft has their own special one. See what that looks like? Like a little screen and an arrow going out. That's how I can share just about anything. So I'm going to click on share. And then I have my share options up here. I could send it over to Notability. I can send it through my email. Here's my other email. And so if I hit email, you know, I can send it to my wife. Boom, there she goes. And fortunately, she's here, so she won't wonder why I have that, why she's just received that in her thing. One that people don't notice that is super handy for your PLC group is AirDrop. So I'm gonna, remember, Control Center, top right. And you see this thing at the top right has this weird icon you might not know. That's the AirDrop icon. When I touch it, I can set who's allowed to contact me. If you have not changed this on your iPad, don't leave it on everyone. So some people on an airplane, this poor woman on an airplane started getting really awful stuff from another passenger on the airplane who found her thing in AirDrop, started sending her stuff. You have to accept it, but she didn't really know how it works. So change it to contacts only, or change it, leave it on receiving off unless you're expecting something. But when you're there with your PLC buddies, change it to everyone. Now, if I share, I can hit AirDrop and I can send that straight to another person's iPad. It goes straight from mine to theirs. It uses the network that it's like native to the iPad, so you don't even have to be hooked up online. It's really awesome. Show me again how to find that AirDrop. So in the control center, there's the settings. So it's this circly looking thing by my pen. And you want it set to contacts only or receiving off. but you also should use it. Then to use it, you're going to set that share and then airdrop, and your friend, your PLC buddy will show up right there. You'll click on their name and send it right through. How close do you have to be? It uses their kind of weird, kind of Bluetoothy thing. So you could send it to them in the next room. It's pretty cool. And there's no limit to the amount of data it sends because it doesn't do, well, there's a limit to the size, but I don't know what it is. It sends some fairly large things. It'll work for a video. I've sent videos through it before. So you could send, if one of you records a screencast on your iPad, then you can share it to someone else in your department. Where, when you send it to someone else, does it come up as a notification or another way? When you send it to someone, it comes up as a notification. And so it's pretty handy that way. Yeah. Good questions. You guys ask way good questions. Okay, airdrop. So that's it. So there's a couple of questions that I got that I said I'd come back to. One, some of you asked about how I can get my iPad to show up on my screen. Let me remind you of something. People ask, I always get the question, I don't always get the question. How can I get it to show up on my smartboard? People mean different things. So here I've got this classroom. Oh, nice way to be teeny, but that'll work. I've got this classroom and there's a projector and there's the smartboard. Those are actually different things. The smartboard is just a giant, really, really freaking expensive mouse. The projector is the thing that actually shares whatever's on your computer screen. So me, I had the ability, there's an app that will allow you to control a smart notebook file. I don't like to do it that way. I like whatever's on my iPad to show up on my teaching screen. It has a special name, it's called mirroring. And that's when I pull down in the control center, it says screen mirroring. That's what it's talking about. So in the evening, if my family's together, sometimes we'll watch a few YouTube videos or we'll read our scriptures together or something. I show that on my house, my family's Apple TV. I pull it up in screen mirroring like that. I hit it. I'm not going to do it now because I don't know what Robert's doing. IT director would be his. And it shows up. Whatever's on my iPad shows up on that other screen. So that's the way I like to do it. The app SmartMate isn't very good. So you use the projector and this then just, I don't use it so much. So how do you set up that mirroring? The district has been using a piece of software called Reflector. And what they've been doing is they've been purchasing the license for Reflector when a school gets iPads. Robert, bless him and his children and his children's children, has been getting new computers and an iPad. When he does that, he's been having the IT department get purchase an iPad for each teacher. When they do that, they've been buying a copy of Reflector for the teachers. Now, I just bought it myself. It was $12. For me, 12 bucks, I did it out of my own pocket because I just, it was worth not jumping through the hoops. I got a little code, I put it on. So your tech can help you if that's what you want to do. Getting it so that you can show your iPad up on your screen. Just write down Reflector is what it's called. It's a computer program, not an app. It goes on your computer and then you just swipe down here, select screen mirroring and find yours. This is the problem with it and they're kind of working on it. Like right now it's got everyone in the district office, all the TVs. So that's the thing if you want to show it. Can you change the names of the devices you connect to with mirroring? Yes, you can. IT sets up certain names and they've been messing with names to try to make it a little more useful for the teachers. Will it sync with the new smart TV? It depends on the kind of smart TV. I have a smart TV that's a Roku TV, and it's supposed to, and it just doesn't do very well. I use an Apple TV because I'm a nerd. So I talked my wife into letting me buy one with our tax return. I love it. Will it mirror onto the smartboard? No, because Smart doesn't like people mirroring, because once you use the mirroring and you can use Google Earth or whatever else, Smart kind of loses its luster a little bit. And so it's kind of hard to get your stuff out of Smart. It will connect to a smartboard through Smart's app, and then you can control Smart in the traditional way. It's kind of a clunky app. It's not really beautiful, but it does work. The expert on that in the district is Leslie Garbanetti. She's the new ed tech at Box Elder Middle, and she's awesome. Just email Leslie, type in Leslie and then Garb, Garb, and because you're not going to be able to spell her name. And she'd be happy to talk to you about it a little bit. But you know who knows it even better than her is, besides the classroom application, is your tech, the tech that's assigned to your building. These guys know this like the back of their hand, assuming they know the back of their hand well. Okay, did I miss any? Can you change the names? ClassLink won't save my passwords on my iPad. That's weird. I don't know why. That one I could not. I do not have the knowledge base to help you with that one. I apologize. Can you use Reflector to get it on the smartboard? You can use Reflector to show it from the monitor, to show it from the projector, and it will show up on your smartboard. But you won't be able to touch the smartboard and have that change what's on your iPad. But I would argue that you won't need to, because you'd be wandering around the classroom and having better proximity control with the iPad. Personally, that's the way I like it, which is probably why I got roped into doing this particular one. Okay. New teacher, district issue iPad. It depends on your school. So one of the new teachers said, I'm a new teacher to the district. I am so glad you're here. Let me just say that this is the best freaking job on the planet. Other people have to go. I've been to so many businesses in the last 3 years, and I watch them sitting in their freaking stupid cubicles, and I think, oh my goodness, your job sucks. I get to play with kids. Holy cow. Yes, welcome to teaching. Oh. Second, it depends on your school. So your questions about technology. It depends on your school. If your school already got the iPads, talk to your principal. That means if you're in an elementary school or one of the intermediate schools, talk to your principal about the iPad. If you're in one of the middle schools or one of the high schools, you'll have to wait. The iPads will be purchased with what they call the refresh. They buy new computers every so many years, and that's when the district will purchase the iPad. And they'll give it to you in the spring before you get those new computers. So, yeah. Oh, let me show you. I got a question about notifications. Let me show you notifications, because this is the most irritating thing on the planet to me. Notifications. So go into your settings, and you see here, it's close to the top where it says notifications. Click on it. So you'll notice first, this show previews. You can say whether you want it to pop up a little preview of what's going to happen. And you could just say never. I don't want to see that ever. Don't bother me. You could change the Siri suggestions, but this down here decides what apps can talk to you on your iPad and what they can say. So like I'm looking here, I have my Amazon. I have it set to not allow notifications. I really do want it to show me notifications because my son tries to contact me on it. He's 8 and he says, call dad. And it's cool. I don't want, this is a game. I don't want it to ever talk to me. Leave me alone. Disney Plus, why is that on? I'm turning it off. Off. No notifications at all. And so there's a way that you can make it so that you don't get the things popping up that you don't want to see, and you can still see the ones that you do want to see. So yeah, that's how you turn those on or off. We're pretty much out of time. Thanks for coming to my session today. I hope it was useful. Um, I'll be teaching again in the fall by my request at Bear River High, so I won't be available to answer the questions as I have in the past. But Dave Blake, they've created an actual district level position. And Leslie Garbonetti's taken my spot at Box Elder Middle. So I feel pretty good. They had to split my job into 2 jobs. That makes me feel constructive. And go. Someone said, please answer my question, but I don't remember. I remember the question, but I can't find it. I can't find it. I have too many questions in my list. Can you type it again? I'm so sorry. Okay, if you want to go, you're welcome to go. I've got a couple other questions that just popped up. I'll stick them in. One is, how do you lower the video? Do you mean like this? When a video is playing, hit the home button one more time. That's what takes it down into the corner. So once again, just when it's playing in the app, hit the home button, down we go. Okay, how to set it so it doesn't need to be restarted all the time. Oh, yes, got it. How do you set it so that it doesn't go into settings? This is how you stop the timeout, because I hate the timeout. Like my iPad's on, and then the kids come in, and it's like, wait a minute, where is it? So it's in the lock screen. I can't find it. But I'll show you something else cool. So settings has here. I'm going to look for lock screen, auto lock. This is the thing you're talking about. So I used to have my iPad set to where it would turn off after 5 minutes. And what would happen is then it would come back. I'd have to log back into it, and it would show my password to the kids. Drove me nuts. So you go in here. I just search for lock, and it turns out it's in display and brightness. So I can show it to you now. Down here, display and brightness. This auto lock, I changed it to never, so it just doesn't turn off. And that's so that it doesn't. 15 minutes just isn't long enough. I need an hour. I wish it was an hour, but they just don't think about being up in front of a bunch of kids. So I have auto lock set to never. Yeah, sorry. How to move apps from one home screen to another. That is close to this. So I actually want to move my settings. I don't know why it's over here in my useless. I'm going to hold. So again, click and hold till they dance. And then I'm going to move it. So do you see how I did that? Hey, come back here. You just move it to the edge of the screen and just hold your finger there for a sec, but not too long or it'll go too over. That's how you move it from one place to the next, from one screen to the next. Okay, well, thank you and good luck. And it's so good to see some of you. I'm looking at faces and I'm like, oh, I missed them already. Hey, so we'll see you around.